Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before we begin this video, don't forget to give it a like. It truly encourages us to keep sharing beneficial content, inshallah. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our future videos on faith, spirituality, and Islamic reminders. Barakallahu feekum. May Allah bless you and enjoy the video. When Allah is preparing you for someone He has destined for you, the process often begins long before you ever meet that person. It starts with the refinement of your soul, the purification of your intentions, and the softening of your heart. You may not even realize it, but everything you're going through right now, the challenges, the delays, the loneliness, the growth, is all part of a divine process. Allah does not unite two people in a meaningful, blessed relationship without first preparing them for each other. That preparation can be gentle or it can be intense. It might take the form of heartbreak, failure, or isolation, or it might come through deep moments of spiritual awakening, where you find yourself drawn closer to Allah in ways you never expected. Regardless of how it unfolds, it's a necessary journey that serves a divine purpose. Allah wants your heart to be aligned with His before He entrusts it to someone else. Sometimes we want a soulmate, but our hearts are still filled with past attachments, unresolved pain, unrealistic expectations, or even arrogance. Before Allah brings someone into your life, He often removes these internal obstacles. He teaches you how to love without becoming dependent, how to trust without losing yourself, and how to be alone without feeling abandoned. You begin to understand that real companionship starts with being at peace with your own soul, and that only when you're whole can you truly welcome someone else with sincerity and balance. One of the greatest signs that Allah is preparing you is when you start to let go of what you once thought was meant for you. That person who walked away, that opportunity that fell apart, that season of waiting that seemed never-ending. It all begins to make sense in retrospect. You realize that Allah was protecting you from what wasn't yours, even when your heart was begging for it. This breaking is also a form of molding. The disappointments teach you resilience. The delays teach you patience, and the silence teaches you to seek answers from the one who sees the entire picture. It's in this waiting room of your life that Allah is working the most on your character. Spiritual preparation also involves becoming more conscious of your worship. Maybe you begin to pray more consistently, or you find comfort in the Quran like never before. You start making dua with depth and clarity, asking not just for a spouse but for a companion who brings you closer to Jannah. You no longer desire just love. You desire a love that is rooted in divine mercy and shared submission to Allah. This shift in your prayers is a reflection of a shift in your soul. You've moved from wanting to be loved to wanting to be worthy of love, and that is a powerful transformation. Allah also strengthens your boundaries during this time. You may find yourself walking away from environments that no longer align with your values, or from people who drain your spirit. You might feel a deep need for solitude, not because you're broken, but because you're being rebuilt. Solitude becomes sacred. It's in these moments alone with Allah that you begin to discover your worth, not through someone else's validation, but through your connection to your Creator. When you know who you are with Allah, you're no longer desperate for someone else to complete you. Instead, you wait with dignity, knowing that Allah's plan is always better than your desire. During this process, your vision of love itself begins to mature. You begin to realize that true love isn't about constant butterflies or dramatic passion. It's about tranquility, mercy, and companionship. These are the same principles Allah mentions in the Quran when describing the bond between spouses. And among His signs is this, that He created for you mates from among yourselves, that you may find tranquility in them, and He has placed between you affection and mercy. Verily, in that are signs for those who reflect. Surah Ar-Rum 30:21. This ayah reminds you that the love Allah wants for you is one that brings calm, not chaos, peace, not pain. You begin to seek not someone who completes you, but someone who complements your journey to Allah. What you're going through right now is not a delay, it's a divine setup. The longer the preparation, the more beautiful the arrival. Allah is refining you so that when that person comes into your life, you will recognize them not just with your eyes, but with your soul. You will see them not as an escape from your loneliness, but as a sign of Allah's mercy. And because you've done the inner work, you'll be able to love from a place of strength, not desperation. So if you're in a season of waiting, know that it is not empty. It is filled with divine activity that your eyes cannot yet see. Allah is working on you, and He is working on the one meant for you. Trust that when the time is right, your paths will meet. Not a moment too early, not a moment too late. In the meantime, keep preparing, keep praying, and keep becoming. Because someone special is indeed on the way. And Allah never breaks His promise. When someone special is on their way into your life, Allah often allows you to experience subtle yet powerful signs. These are not always grand or loud. Rather, they are quiet, spiritual confirmations that something is shifting in the unseen. In Islam, we are taught that the heart is capable of sensing divine movement long before our eyes can see it. The more spiritually attuned you are, the more likely you are to notice these signs. They are not coincidences. They are divine whispers pointing to a future that Allah is orchestrating with perfect precision. One of the first signs is a deep sense of inner peace that settles in your heart, even if nothing around you has changed. You may still be single, waiting, uncertain, but somehow you no longer feel anxious about it. You begin to feel a quiet contentment, a reassurance from Allah that your dua has been heard, and that He is preparing something beautiful behind the scenes. This feeling is often sudden, and it doesn't always make logical sense. But it brings serenity. The Quran says, "Verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest." Surah Ar-Ra'd 13:28. This verse reminds us that peace is not found in people or promises, but in Allah. And sometimes, that inner peace is the very first indication that He is answering your prayer, even if the answer has not yet arrived. Another sign is the clarity in your dua. You find yourself making specific, heartfelt prayers for someone you haven't even met yet. You no longer ask vaguely for a good spouse. You begin to describe their qualities in detail. Someone who reminds you of Allah. Someone patient, kind, spiritually mature. Someone who brings peace, not confusion. And you begin to feel emotionally connected to this person, as if your soul knows they are near. It's not an obsession, but a calm awareness. You're not fantasizing, you're spiritually anticipating. This clarity is often a result of Allah aligning your heart with His will. Dreams can also be a powerful indication. In Islam, we know that righteous dreams are one of the 46 parts of prophethood, as the Prophet Muhammad said. If you start having recurring dreams of someone with a peaceful presence, or dreams where you are preparing for something important, such as a wedding, a union, or a journey, it may be a sign that Allah is preparing your subconscious for a divine connection. Of course, dreams should be taken with wisdom and not used as the sole source of decision-making. But when they come with a sense of calm and repetition, they may be worth reflecting on. Another common sign is sudden encounters or conversations about marriage, soulmates, or relationships that seem to come out of nowhere. People around you may start talking about someone who sounds exactly like the person you've been praying for. Or you might hear sermons, videos, or reminders that deeply resonate with your situation. This is not just coincidence. This is Allah placing signs on your path to keep your heart hopeful and focused. Allah says in the Quran, "We will show them our signs in the horizons and within themselves until it becomes clear to them that it is the truth." Surah Fussilat 41:53. Sometimes these horizons appear in the form of external confirmations that remind you Allah has not forgotten your dua. There are also internal shifts that prepare your soul for someone special. You may feel a sudden urge to become better, not for anyone else, but because you feel something is coming and you want to be ready. You may find yourself healing from old pain, letting go of past relationships, cutting off unhealthy attachments, or finally forgiving someone who hurt you. This purification of the heart is not random. It's part of your soul's way of creating space for what is meant to arrive. Sometimes, Allah doesn't send someone new until you've released what no longer serves your growth. A very telling sign is when you begin to raise your standards. Not in arrogance, but in spiritual clarity. You stop chasing after those who don't value you. You no longer settle for temporary attention or superficial connections. You want depth. You want something real. And that shift in your standards is a sign that you're nearing the person Allah meant for you. Because when you become firm in your worth, you attract what aligns with that worth. You begin to understand the sacredness of a God-centered connection, and your soul refuses to be entertained by anything less. Sometimes, Allah will even send people who resemble what you've prayed for, only for you to realize they're not quite it. These are tests of discernment. You start to see what is almost right, but not fully aligned. These near misses teach you patience and refine your understanding of what your heart truly needs, not just what it wants. They are not failures. They are training grounds. They remind you that what is truly from Allah will not require you to abandon your values, lower your standards, or force your way in. Ultimately, the most powerful sign that someone special is coming your way is that your heart feels anchored in hope, not desperation. You're not waiting anxiously. You're waiting with peace. You're not losing yourself in longing. You're growing closer to Allah in the process. You trust that what is written for you will find its way to you. You are no longer questioning if it will happen. You are simply focused on when and how Allah will unfold it. And when that person finally enters your life, you will recognize them not because they look like your fantasy, but because they will feel like a prayer that has been answered. Their presence will match your healing, their character will mirror your growth, and their soul will complement your journey to Allah. Until then, keep watching for the signs. Allah is never silent without purpose, and when He is preparing something divine, even the smallest signs carry immense meaning. Trusting in Allah's timing, tawakul, is one of the most powerful expressions of faith, especially when it comes to waiting for the one He has destined for you. It's easy to trust when things are going your way, but true tawakul is developed in the silence, in the unknown, when your dua seems unanswered, and your heart starts to question if Allah heard you at all. But He did. And He always does. The period of waiting is not a punishment. It is a test, a preparation, and a purification. Sometimes, Allah withholds what you desire, not because you don't deserve it, but because He is protecting you from something premature. A rushed relationship can break you, but a relationship that comes in Allah's timing will build you, sustain you, and lead you closer to Him. That's why trust is essential. You have to believe that even in the delay, Allah is working. He's not just preparing someone for you, He's also preparing you for that someone. And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him. Surah At-Talaq 65:3. This verse is a deep comfort word during the waiting season. It reminds you that Allah is never late, and His timing is not random. Every second you spend in patience is recorded, rewarded, and repaid by the One who sees the whole picture. While you may only see the unanswered prayer, Allah sees what you cannot: your future, your journey, your soul, and the exact moment when your heart will be ready to receive His gift without destroying it. Waiting with tawakul doesn't mean you do nothing. It means you trust Allah while you continue growing. It means you surrender your timeline while still making sincere dua. It means you don't allow your hope to turn into frustration. You begin to understand that silence from Allah is not absence. Sometimes He withholds the answer because He wants to hear your voice more often. He wants to see if your love for Him is conditional, or if you truly believe that what is written will reach you when it is meant to. The greatest love story is not just between two people. It's between a believer and their Creator. When you trust Allah deeply, you no longer chase people. You don't beg for love. You don't rush what is meant to come. Instead, you sit in peace, knowing that what is destined will arrive. And when it does, it will be better than what you imagined. Because it came from the One who knows you better than you know yourself. Tawakul transforms waiting into worship, and patience into power. And in the quiet moments when nothing seems to be happening, Allah is writing the most beautiful chapter of your story, preparing yourself spiritually and emotionally to receive the person Allah has destined for you is one of the most essential yet often overlooked parts of the journey. While many focus on finding the right person, the deeper question is, are you becoming the right person? What you are asking Allah for is sacred, a soul-level connection, a relationship built on love, mercy, and guidance. Such a gift requires a heart that is ready, a soul that is grounded, and intentions that are pure. Spiritual preparation begins with sincerity in your dua. When you ask Allah for a spouse, ask not only for someone who brings you happiness, but someone who brings you closer to Him. Ask for someone whose presence increases your faith, whose love is rooted in patience and understanding, and who will walk with you on the path to Jannah. This kind of prayer purifies your intention. You're not just asking for a spouse, you're asking for a partner in deen, in life, in hardship and ease. At the same time, emotional readiness requires healing from past wounds. Carrying unhealed pain into a new relationship can sabotage even the most beautiful union. Take time to reflect on your emotional patterns, your triggers, your expectations. Forgive those who hurt you, not for their sake, but to free yourself. Let go of bitterness, comparison, and fear. Allah will not bring something new into a heart still occupied by what He removed. Create space for the new by trusting His plan for what was taken away. Personal growth is also a part of your preparation. Focus on building your character, your patience, honesty, compassion, self-control. Work on your communication, your ability to compromise, your resilience during hardship. These are the tools of a successful, lasting relationship. Remember, you are not just asking Allah to send you someone good. You must strive to become someone good. As the Prophet Muhammad said, the best of you are those who are best to their spouses. This isn't just about how you treat others. It's about the kind of person you are becoming in private and in public. Finally, strengthen your connection with Allah. Make your relationship with Him your first priority, because everything else flows from that. A heart anchored in faith is not desperate for people. It is prepared for them. When you love Allah first, you don't enter relationships out of need, but from a place of spiritual fullness. You become someone who gives love without losing your identity, who receives love without becoming dependent. That's the kind of heart that can sustain the love Allah blesses you with. So before you seek the one meant for you, Seek to become the one who's ready for them. Allah does not withhold out of cruelty. He delays out of mercy because He wants to give you something complete, not rushed. And when your heart, mind, and soul are aligned with His will, you will be prepared to receive not just anyone, but the right one. May Allah bless you and guide you to a life filled with mercy, love, and tranquility.